ball on the tee. Donnerman boots it away. Welcome to Saturday afternoon football here at Slinger High. And a fair catch. Or I believe there might be a penalty, actually.
Yeah, I think it was an offsides here to start.
A little too eager to start.
Yeah, because there's a flag on right on the 40-yard line on the far sideline.
I'm not sure why that's a stoppage of play, though. I figured you would let the return go and then call the penalty afterwards, but... We'll set the tee and kick again 5 yards back. Also back to return for the North Stars, Franco Williams, number 17. So the ball is set at the 35, and we'll kick it off again. It's a line drive. A little bit of trouble picking it up. Cuts to the outside, got a couple blocks. And out near the 40, Javante Brown with a great return. And the North Stars walk on the field with their offense for the first time this afternoon. So starting at quarterback for Waukesha North, Jackson Neal. We mentioned him a bit in the pregame. Nick, what do they like to do here with Neal? What's their style on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, they are a pass-first football team. They run all their formations out of shotgun. They only average less than 60 yards per game running the ball, so they certainly look to pass the ball first.
From the 40-yard line, first down for Waukesha North. Play action going up top. It's picked off. Avery Kurth at the 35. A little bit of room to run for Kurth. Has a convoy up at the 50. Gets knocked out of bounds, and there is a flag down after the play. Might be a late hit, but nonetheless, first down, they take a shot, and the Owls with the interception on the first play of the game.
Really good play by Avery Kurth. He recognized that his corner had been beat, so he immediately hustled over to give his corner some help. And thankfully, that for Slinger, the ball had a little bit too much air on it, and that allowed Kurth to get underneath it, make it a very easy interception on the first play from scrimmage.
And a personal foul assessed to the North Stars, presuming it's a late hit. I think it was right near the sideline, so the ball gets moved all the way up to the Waukesha North 37, and now the Owls right away onto the field. The junior, Drew Fairman at quarterback, has had a fantastic season so far.
Yeah, one thing that's really hurt Waukesha North a lot this season is slow starts. They have yet to score a point in the first quarter of the season.
On first down they give. This is Tyler Strupp. Great carry up the middle. Looks like a gain of 4, 2nd and 6 upcoming.
Really, Strupp has really come on here, I think, in the second half of the season. I think in the early part of the year we saw a lot more of Avery Kurth kind of carrying the load in the ground game, but really Tyler's really stepped up here over the last several weeks, and he's really gotten the bulk of the carries for the Owls.
Something going on in the field.
Yeah, it's a clock issue. It says 14:07. They probably started it from 15 minutes.
So normally the quarters start at 12 minutes, so this should get moved down to 11:07.
Yep, there it goes.
There we go. Second down and 6 for the Owls. Fairman pulls out from the pass attempt, and the pass is incomplete. He threw it into a crowd of defenders. That play never looked like it really got off from the jump. It just looked discombobulated, honestly.
Yeah, it was pretty risky. I mean, you almost had the fumble on a snap here because the defense got back in the backfield so quickly, and Furman, just out of a desperation, just kind of threw the ball into a crowd. He's lucky the ball wasn't intercepted.
Looks like the officials were discussing something. I think maybe discussing whether or not that was intentional grounding. Fairman was getting dragged to the ground as he threw the ball, so doesn't look like any penalty assessed. And now it's 3rd down and 6. The Owls trying to capitalize on the early turnover. This is the first time we see Aiden Dotterman with the ball, and now he's around the edge, past the 25, and a great play by Aiden Dotterman. 1st down, Owls on the jet sweep.
It was aided just by good blocking here on the edge, really specifically the receivers that were lined up here on the near sideline. Just good blocking to pave the way for Dotterman to get the big 1st down.
And the gain of 12 puts the Owls a yard outside the red zone. This is Strupp. Good job by the Waukesha North front 4. Strupp maybe got 2. It looks like they're going to spot him for 2. 2nd down. Play action. Fairman under heat. He's going down. Jack Klusendorf with the sack. And the Owls move way back for 3rd down and long.
Jack came through the hole real quick, and he's one of the big guys on defense for this team. He's kind of been in and out this year with some injuries, but he's a very talented football player and a very good linebacker, committed to Northern State next year. So he's going to be one that's going to be key for Waukesha North on defense.
That loss of 11 turns it into 3rd and 19.
Also committed to Northern State on Slinger's side is Bobby Cleary. So I got 2 guys in this game headed to Northern State next year.
Fairman fires a dart. We'll see if this is a completed catch. It is. Catch made by Blake Durbin around the 20-yard line. So now it's 4th down and 10. And I think the Owls might be attempting either a long field goal or a punt here. We'll see what they line up with. And they're going to trot out the kicker. Cameron Groves will attempt a field goal. This is going to be a little bit longer than we're used to seeing from Groves.
Not only that, it's going to be a little tricky. The wind is kind of shifting and floating around, and it's pretty stiff. So this is going to be tricky. Looking at about 38 yards from here.
North's got a returner back deep near the goal line. Groves gets it blocked. And Jacklin does a great job to jump on top of it, but Waukesha North, after the pick on the first play, they come out and get the block on the kick and salvage the possession on defense. That looked like it was Javante Brown who got around the edge and got the block, number 10 for Waukesha North.
Yeah, that's exactly who got in, and it almost looked like he wasn't even touched. And that was a pretty easy block. It was almost amazing he didn't tackle the holder. I mean, that's how quick he got in to the backfield. So, and Slinger just does not get a chance to capitalize on the early interception, and then opportunities was really what hurt Slinger last week. They had their first 3 drives get inside the 35 of Westman East, and all of them ended in turnovers on down. So not a good start for Slinger in that respect.
Play action again, and this is picked off again. 2 plays, 2 interceptions for Waukesha North. Blake Durbin. What a crazy start to the game. 2 pass attempts from Waukesha North and 2 Slinger interceptions. And now the Owls go right back onto the field. Have you ever seen a start to the game like this? With 2 interceptions on the first 2 pass attempts.
And a blocked field goal on the other side. It's just a little unusual, but this is a 1 o'clock Saturday game, so it might be a little interesting. But good job by Blake Durbin. That's his 4th interception of the season. Ties him with Dotterman for the team lead.
On first down, Fairman, good protection and throws a dart. This pass is caught by Derek Wiest inside the 30. Gain of 8, 2nd down.
Good job by Weiss to find the hole in the secondary. The New Waukesha North almost kind of looked like a little bit of zone defense there. Weiss found the spot, and Furman found him for a good completion. You know, when I watched Waukesha North on tape the last couple of days, it was neat to watch Kusendorf on tape. You know, he was just a guy that stood out at 6'2", 220. And he's going to be a pretty nice player at the next level.
Fairman will pass. Steps up, and look at Drew Fairman making some moves inside the 25 and is wrestled down by Klusendorf. But has enough for the first down, does Fairman, inside the 25 to the 24.
And coming into this thing, Klusendorf had 12 tackles, but like you said, he's had a little injury issues this season. So I think it was a shoulder injury from what I've been able to read on him. So he's a good player.
They'll give to Kurth, but he's going nowhere, and Klusendorf again making his presence felt in the backfield.
Slinger may want to think about blocking him because he's coming in very easily, untouched on the sack, and then on that play right there. Slinger's going to have to make an adjustment up front to figure out how to get Klusendorf blocked because he is flying all over this field.
And Klusendorf was not the only one around Kurth on that carry. There were 3 Waukesha North defenders right there, right after the handoff. So, like you said, there's going to have to be some adjustments on that front line for the Owls. Second down and 11. They'll give to Kurth again. And he's tackled by Seti Bolden, the senior for Waukesha North, down at the 21-yard line. It'll be third down and 7. And now, after having a field goal blocked, are you considering this to be 4-down territory? You know, those are questions I'm sure going through the minds of the coaches on the sideline for Slinger. Third down and 7.
It's speed on speed matchup on the top with Brown against Dauterman. That's a good matchup.
Fairman will throw. Pressure coming. Directing traffic and throws. It's incomplete. It was intended for Gage Ziegler, but threw it way over the top. It'll be fourth down.
That was well covered by Waukesha North. Furman just did not have anywhere to go with it. And looks like the Slinger Owls are going to go for it as Furman comes back from the sideline.
Owls at the 21-yard line. They need to get down to, the 21-yard line. They need to get down to the 14. So fourth down and 7. Yeah, Dauterman on the near side of your screen in a one-on-one matchup on the edge. Fairman looking Dauterman's way. Lots of contact, and here comes the flag. Pretty easy call for the officials.
I think Brown's making a case that Dauterman was also doing some pushing and shoving too. I think most of the time that kind of call is going to favor the receiver more than the defensive back. So.
When you have 2 seniors that are so talented in Javante Brown and Aiden Dauterman, you know there's more than just a simple route in coverage. There's a lot of little things going on in that matchup. Should be a great one to watch throughout the day.
I mean, size-wise, Dauterman's got it at 6'1", and Brown is 5'8", but they both match up pretty well in speed. So if anything, Brown's just going to match up with him in stride for stride. So Dauterman's going to have to be a little smart with the way he runs his routes.
They give to Kurth on first down, and again, Waukesha North plugging the gap quickly. Tackle initiated by Gabe Cheney. The Owls down to the 8-yard line now. Second down and 7. They can get to the 1-yard line and get a first down, but this close to the end zone, it's essentially second down with goal to go.
You know, Slinger definitely wants a touchdown on this drive. Just how last week started with the 3 drives going inside the 35 and ending in turnover and downs.
They give to Kurth, to the 5, to the end zone. Touchdown, Owls, Avery Kurth. And a nice job by the Owls to block up on the left side of the line. Kurth made a couple miss and broke one extra tackle to score 6.
And that's what you wanted to do if you were Slingers, just get a touchdown. Like I said, they struggled to capitalize on opportunities last week, and it really cost them in their loss to West Bend East. They had the field goal block on the previous drive, but they were able to punch it in for 6 at getting a short field this time.
Groves' kick is good. And with 4 minutes, 54 seconds left to play in the opening quarter, the Owls lead 7-0. The crazy part is we've only seen 2 offensive plays from Waukesha North so far, both interceptions. With Jackson Neal, I mean, he's a junior, so in the same kind of boat as Drew Fairman. You know, you're not a senior. You haven't been doing this for a long time, but this is one of those moments, you know, last game of the season or second last game of the season for these two teams, and you got to wonder, how do you continue to give him play calls to throw the football when you've thrown 2 pass attempts and have had 2 picks, and you've only ran 2 plays. You haven't ran the ball. You haven't done anything. What do you do if you're the North coaching staff right now?
You just tell him, just settle down. I think that's part of it. I think his 2 passes, one was just not a good throw. He put too much air on one, and the other one he just didn't read the coverage very well. So Jackson Neal will make the adjustments, and I'm sure the coaching staff for Waukesha North will do the same. I mean, there's still a lot of game left. There's still 3 full quarters left, but Jackson's just not been really prone to turnovers. Just threw 2 interceptions all season coming in, and he's already matched that here this afternoon.
Groves puts it on the ground. Gets a nice hop. Caught inside the 25. Piled up at the 35, and it moves forward to around the 38-yard line. That was Peyton Frainer on the return. And now, Waukesha North, their 3rd possession of the game already.
And Waukesha North, as we mentioned, is a team that likes to throw the ball. They're a pass-first team, hence by 3-4 receiver sets, shotgun formation. So they're going to stick with Neal.
They'll hand it off here on 1st down, and nothing doing on that play. They gave it to Julius Krumenacher, but multiple Owls right there at the line of scrimmage to plug the gap. 2nd down. Drops back to pass. Just outside of his intended receiver. He's trying to get it to Franco Williams, the sophomore. It'll be 3rd down and long for the North Stars.
Yeah, he had some space to get the ball to him. Just maybe the ball may have slipped out of his hand because he threw behind him pretty well.
They need 10. Neal will throw. Pressure coming. They got the screen off, but the tackle is made immediately in the backfield. Tyler Strupp read that beautifully for a loss of 2, 4th down.
That's just textbook. The linebacker read the play, what was going on, read what's going on in the backfield, and immediately attacked it once he recognized what the play was. You can't teach that any better than how Tyler Strupp executed that tackle in the open field on that screen.
So it looks like Jackson Neal is also the punter. Back deep to return for the Owls is Andrew Jacqueline. Neal does boot it, but it looks like it's going to go out of bounds along that sideline. friendly bounce actually stays in bounds. And at the 48-yard line, the Owls will head back out onto the field. 3 minutes, 19 seconds left to play in the opening quarter. And a chance for the Owls to really build on this early lead.
Yeah, even though we've mentioned that this is really an exhibition game, as both teams will have games next weekend, which by the way, will be Thursday night. So just make note of that these games will not be Friday; they will be Thursday. Slinger is going to be going to Pewaukee, and Waukesha North is going to be playing at Homestead. You still want to try and work on some things here and really be ready for those games next week. You certainly don't want to take it easy tonight. You definitely want to treat this as any other game, and I'm sure that's the way both teams have looked at it today.
On first down, they'll pitch to the outside. Kurth gets past midfield, but is dragged down on the near sideline. That's Nick Perez with the tackle. Gain of 4, second down.
And especially with both of these teams next week, they got pretty tough opponents. Pewaukee is a very solid team, and we know what Homestead is capable of too. So these two teams here are really playing for something that they can feel good going into practice next week as they get ready for two very good opponents next Thursday.
They'll give to Kurth again, a little bit of a gap past the 40. Near the 35. Kurth with a great carry there.
And Avery's off to a really nice start. 33 yards and 6 carries, has the lone touchdown.
Down to the 34-yard line.
Yeah, watching Waukesha North on tape this week, their defensive line is not really very big, and especially when you're going up against some of the bigger guys on Slinger. So that's going to be a key matchup too, is in the trenches and how well Waukesha North can hold up against these bigger linemen that Slinger possess.
And the play is stopped with a penalty. It'll be a false start on Slinger. Move the ball back 5 yards and replay first.
5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
And up front for Slinger, you've got Mike Strassner, who's 6'6", 340. Another big one is Robert Cleary, 6'1", 250. Ashton Beer, 6'5", 295. And so Slinger, like they always have had in the past, got big guys up front. And that's allows Slinger so many years to be able to run the ball. That area in the trenches is going to be key today.
Fairman drops back to pass. Intended for Dodderman, a nice adjustment to make the grab just outside of the 30. Marked to the 31. So that'll be a gain of 9.
Good route by Dodderman. He got the separation from Brown, who played just a little bit off of Dodderman, and Dodderman was able to get some space and make a good dig route for that catch.
Fairman seems to be a little bit more comfortable throwing the football here this week. You've seen his progression throughout the year. Where now he's thrown a couple darts into zone coverage. We saw one earlier on the last possession to Derek Weiss, and this pass right here on that comeback route to Dodderman. He seems to feel a little bit more comfortable in that pocket. We get to second down. Dodderman in motion. They don't give it to him. Fairman keeps. A nice gain of a few yards there as Klusendorf makes the tackle inside the 30 at the 28-yard line. Third down and 4 upcoming.
I think that play was supposed to go to Dodderman, but it was such a high snap. Fairman couldn't get the ball down in time to get the ball to Dodderman, so that's why he had to take off. But yeah, you mentioned Furman in the passing game. His stats may not jump out at you as having a solid season at 45 for 109, 840 yards, 8 touchdowns, but he's only thrown 3 interceptions. So that means he's making smarter decisions with the football and not turning it over.
Spread it out for third down, and Fairman's going to throw quickly, intended for Dodderman, and it's behind him. Pressure was in Fairman's face. It'll be fourth down.
I think you attribute that to the bad pass there by the credit to the defense, just getting into the backfield. But Furman just probably had to throw it a lot quicker than what he thought or that he wanted to, and therefore couldn't get off a good throw.
So the Owls need 4 yards to get the first down. They've converted on 1 4th down already here this first quarter.
And with 10 seconds left, this might be the last play of this quarter.
Pressure coming. Fairman gets rid of it. It's behind Dotterman, and that would have been 6 points as that was on target.
Yeah, Waukesha North bought both outside linebackers, and they came in quick. Slinger just didn't have enough bodies up front to block. And like you said, if the throw is on target, that's an easy first down, if not 6 points.
So 7 seconds left to play in the opening quarter, and Waukesha North will have one play at least here before the end of the quarter. Yet to even get a first down here today. 2 interceptions from Jackson Neal, who has not been a turnover machine at all this season. Just 2 great defensive plays back-to-back to start the game. Now I'm going to try to find a rhythm here before the end of the quarter. Neal will throw quickly to the outside. It is caught. This pass is completed to Spencer Robertson. But Derek Wiest there to make the tackle immediately after a gain of 1, and that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. Crazy first quarter, 7-0 lead for the Owls. The Slinger Gridiron appreciates our community business partners' financial support of player safety for all of Slinger's football players through our Triple S program. Thank you to our touchdown sponsors, Washington County Insider, Bass Durbin Advertising, Gardner Schofield Chiropractic, Wilkie's Plumbing, Smiley C-Store, and Slinger Super Speedway. Also our Field Goal sponsors, thank you to Auto Tech, E.H. Wolf, Metalcraft, Northbrook Men's Group, Craft Masonry, and Subway of Allenton. Also thank you to our first down sponsors, Gern's Bar, HFR Electric, Midwest Beverages, Phil and Chill, and Cheryl's Club 175. As we get the ball set and ready to go for the second quarter, it's a crazy first quarter. The first possession for Waukesha North, interception. Owls drive down the field, get a kick blocked. Then the next play from scrimmage for Waukesha North, another pick. And then the Owls finally capitalize and score a touchdown. And then the Owls again drive down the field before the end of the quarter, and you saw the turnover on downs. Brings us here to 2nd down and 9. Just a crazy game in 1 quarter almost.
Yeah, so far North has run 6 plays, negative 2 yards of offense.
They'll toss to the outside. There is a flag down.
I think this is in the area of holding, so this play will probably come back.
So they gave it to Krumenacher down the left side of the field. Would only gain a couple yards if it stood. So the holding is going to move Waukesha North back 10 yards. And we'll replay 2nd down. It's a crucial penalty when you're trying to find your rhythm early in the game. You haven't had anything going to start. And now you have to combat 2nd and long. Low snap. Neal wants to throw. He gets it off. It's completed. Past the 25. This is caught by Reese Clark. It'll be 3rd down and 12. Neal stepping up in the pocket. It's collapsing. Neal can't get away from the pressure. Sack is made by Andrew Glash along with others. It'll be 4th down, and the Owls defense keeps the door shut for a whole quarter and a drive. The Owls defense just looks phenomenal.
They're just getting good brush up front, getting good coverage on the back end, and when you put those two together, that dispels troubles and frustrations for an offense, and that's what we've definitely have seen so far here for Waukesha North.
Looks like North is confused as to how many players they're supposed to have out there. I think they have 11 now as Neal is ready to punt. Jacqueline back to return again for the Owls. There's a flag down.
This will be an illegal motion on Waukesha North.
So Jackson's going to try to return it. And Jacqueline gets past the 40. Now there is a penalty flag down like you mentioned.
Yeah, this is going to be for an illegal motion. The wing backs here for Waukesha North on the special teams on the near side were a little confused about who should be on the edge and protect the tackle. Otherwise, it'd been an illegal formation with too many players in the backfield. And just as that one player moved up to try and make it illegal formation, that's when a ball was snapped.
So this will be attributed to the end of the return. Excuse me. I believe that's how they're going to assess this penalty.
Correct.
So they'll move it from the 44 to the 49.
First and 10, Owls at the 49.
Again, great field position for the Owls, but this is not the best field position they've had so far today, but this is definitely good field position. They only need 51 yards to get to the end zone. They moved the ball well early in all of their drives. They start this one where they give to Strupp. Runs over a defender and is taken down by Klusendorf just past the 50 into Waukesha North territory. But like we've said all year, Tyler Strupp is not an easy man to bring down.
And he plowed over one Waukesha North defender with a pretty good hit, and then Strupp took a pretty big hit from himself. So a couple of nice, real big pops there, and that's what you like to see in a football game.
Gain of 3 takes us to 2nd and 7. They'll give to Strupp again in the backfield. Stays on his feet and gets a couple extra yards, lunging past the 45. Reese Clark in there to get the tackle for the North Stars. Brings up 3rd down and 3.
3rd and 3 for the Owls.
Last couple of plays, the Slingers they've gotten an offensive lineman up to the 2nd level to block Klusendorf. That time it was number 78 for the Owls. That's Ashton Beers. Got a good block on him for Klusendorf to not be able to make the play. So Slinger's starting to make the adjustments and trying to get one of Waukesha North's best defensive players and their best tacklers out of the equation.
Fairman's going to throw, gets rid of it, it's tipped, it's in the air, and it's intercepted.
Intercepted by the North Stars. 33-yard line.
Great concentration by Elijah Givings for the North Stars. And on 3rd down, it'll be a turnover.
So Givings' first interception of the season. It's the little tip drill. You kind of work on that in practice. You do the little tip drill. You try to tip it to the next player behind you or next to you. So you do that all the time in practice, and it worked out nicely for Waukesha North to get the turnover. And they've got the ball with 8:26 left here in the 2nd quarter.
And if my numbers are correct, we've seen 4 turnovers already here in the first half. You have 3 interceptions and a turnover on downs.
Yeah, so a little sloppy by both teams here, but you can almost kind of expect that considering both teams have had to change opponents midweek.
On 1st down, this handoff goes nowhere along the right edge of the line of scrimmage. They gave it to Javante Brown, but he was unable to find any kind of daylight. And the Owls really have clamped down on the few run attempts we've seen from Waukesha North. They've done a great job managing that line of scrimmage.
And so far, 3 rushes, 0 yards for the North Stars.
Neal will throw on 2nd and 10, and a nice pass just across the left hash. It's completed to Spencer Robertson. Enough for a 1st down.
That was just a good execution by Waukesha North. Slinger had to play man coverage with only one safety over the top, and that left the middle of the field wide open. And that's what Waukesha North attacked it on the slant route. So really well-designed and well-executed play by Waukesha North.
From the 46-yard line, try to get it out to Brown in motion, and he dropped it. He had blockers in front of him. That could have been dangerous.
That almost looked like it was a backward pass from this angle.
It was a quick whistle from the officials as the Owls were screaming at that ball, thinking the same thing. Looking for a scoop and score, but they call it an incomplete pass. Second down and 10. 7 minutes, 18 seconds left to play here in the opening half. Rolling out left, pass to the near sideline, dropped incomplete. Not a bad ball from Jackson Neal, intended for Clark. Had a chance to catch it, but was unable to haul it in.
Yeah, not a bad design play. They tried stop and go routes here at the near sideline, but Slinger read it perfectly, did not bite on him, and Jackson Neal had to get rid of the ball.
Third down and 10. North has had some issues on third down so far today. Neal will drop back to pass. Lets it fly downfield, and it's picked off again. Avery Kurtz with his second of the day. Kurtz got a couple blocks. He might take this thing. Down the left sideline, knocked out of bounds past the 40 in Waukesha North territory. Avery Kurtz with another great read and pick number 2 here in the afternoon.
Now he assumes the team lead with 5 interceptions this season. Avery's just a really solid safety for Slinger. Just does a really good job in recognizing and reading what's going on in front of him, and he reacts real quickly. So he's a nice asset to have in the secondary, and he has shown his playmaking ability defensively now with his second pick of the night of the game and 5 now for the season.
Seattle will start this drive at the 38-yard line. Again, fantastic field position as they give to Strupp here. Cuts to a different gap and only gets a couple yards. Tackle made by Aaron Still, the junior safety for the North Stars. Second down.
And as we approach almost 6.5 minutes left here in the second quarter, you kind of start thinking what adjustments these two teams might make at halftime, and I'm certain holding on to the football will certainly be one of the things that need to be talked about, with 3 turnovers, all interceptions by Waukesha North, and then Slinger has the interception and a turnover on downs, so it's a little sloppy. These two teams have been so far here in holding on to the football.
On second down, this is Strupp again, a little bit of daylight. Strupp inside the 20. Big gain of 16 yards, taken down by Isaiah Grant, enough for another first down, marked at the 19-yard line.
Mike Strossner, the big key block there on the left-hand side, opened up the left guard, the hole over the left guard. That sprung Strupp for the big gain, so kudos to Strossner, 6'6", 340, senior, playing his last game here on the Owls' home field. Big block there is what sprung that play.
The Owls in the red zone again, threatening to extend the lead here. Weist in motion. They barely get it off to him as Weist. Convoy down the right sideline inside the 10, knocked out of bounds, shy of the 5. And the jet sweep has become a staple to get the ball in the hands of Weist.
But there is a flag here on the near side, just right by the 10-yard line.
So it depends on what the penalty might be. They
There's
have had
two flags.
They have had holding issues on that specific play, and I think that might be what bit them here.
Holding on the Owls.
As holding is the call.
Maybe that's the second time holding's been called on that particular play.
So it moves the ball back to the 22-yard line, first down, and 13 now.
We mentioned a couple times that a little undersized Waukesha North is on the defensive line, but again, watching him on tape, I thought the linebackers were very solid in their pursuit. And you got Klusendorf, and then you throw in Clayton Schwalbe, as well as another really solid defensive player. Slinger's just having troubles getting onto the edge and getting those blocks.
They'll give to Strupp again. Past the 20-yard line. Tackle made by Clark.
Brought down at the 18-yard line.
Gain of about 4. Second down and 9. Depending on the spot, they might have given him 4.5 yards. 5 minutes, 15 seconds left to play in the opening half. Lots of time left, but the Owls get the ball to start the second half, so a score here would be a really good momentum shift. It's going to keep control of this game going into halftime. They'll give to Strupp. Still on his feet in the dog pile. Ends up being taken down at the end of the play by Gabe Cheney.
Stop at the 14-yard line.
And third down upcoming. They need about 5.
5 for the Owls.
And from what we've seen so far here, I think Slinger's doing a little better job running between the tackles, a little more than on the edge, where I think that might be where the area Waukesha North may have a little bit of a better edge. It may be just a little quicker on the perimeter. So I think you should see maybe more runs between the tackles by Slinger, because I think Slinger's doing a nice job blocking in the middle and getting to the second level and pushing the defensive line a couple yards back.
Dodderman split wide, covered by Javante Brown at the top of your screen. They give to Kurth instead, and the gap opens up. Kurth into the end zone. Touchdown, Owls. 19 yards, sprint up the gut. And Kurth has his second touchdown of the afternoon.
And it was very similar to what the play on the other sideline, on the other half of the field. Just a delayed handoff up the middle and through between the tackles. We just mentioned that they were doing a better job in blocking and running through the tackles. And then we saw that evidence here, as now we're starting to get rain showers here on our broadcast window. It makes sense. I saw snow last night in Hartford, and we're going to get rain here.
Grows extra point right through the uprights. So 4:06 left to play in the second quarter, and the Owls lead 14-0 over the North Stars. And so far, the player of the game's got to be Avery Kurth, right? 2 interceptions and 2 touchdowns on the ground. He's done everything so far.
Yeah, and he's having a real solid game. Like we've mentioned a couple times, he's just running between the tackles very well. And he's getting good blocks up front, and he's just doing a good job defensively, recognizing what's going on in front of him and reacting quick. And that's what you want to see out of one of your leading players on this football team. And and for him to be just a sophomore is just really kind of almost mind-blowing that he has that kind of ability and recognition to make those kinds of plays. It's going to be fun to watch him continue to grow, continue to mature as a football player. And the rain's actually starting to come down pretty decently here, so hopefully you can still see through the rain showers here on our broadcast window.
Ball set on the 40. Dodderman will kick it away. You got Franco Williams and Javante Brown back to return for the North Stars. Down towards the right sideline and goes out of bounds. So give North some good field position to start this drive, and a crucial drive now, considering that you're giving the ball back to Slinger to start the second half. So
if what you want to do for here is Waukesha North is eat up as much of this 4:05 left on the clock as you possibly can, so you either don't give Slinger another chance on offense, or you give them very little chance on offense. So this is a key drive for Waukesha North if they want to stay in this game. If they don't score, you at least try to knock down you'd want to knock out at least 3 minutes off of this clock, if not all 4:06.
So from the 35-yard line, Neal will throw, and he fires a duck. It's tipped and picked, and who else? Avery Kurth again, inside the 30 to the 25, still on his feet. And it's taken down, and the last thing you needed for Waukesha North was to throw your third pick of the first half And Avery Kurth is just a hawk today.
Yeah, actually, it's his fourth interception. It's just Kurth has got 3 of them. That was a really nice throw. I thought it was a well-designed play. I thought the pass was just right there. It just went off the hands of the receiver. Couldn't bring it in. And again, Avery Kurth, right place, right time. He's just been in the right spot all afternoon defensively. Now that puts him up to 6 interceptions on the season.
So now the Owls in business. Just under 4 minutes left to play in the opening half.
I'm sorry, 5 interceptions. But he's got 2 pick sixes this year.
And timeout called by Waukesha North. And this defense really, their back being against the wall to only have 14 points on the board for Slinger. North is doing a decent job on defense, just trying to manage the game at this point.
Yeah, and they've been on this field quite a bit already here. Like we've mentioned a bunch earlier in the game, their first 2 offensive plays from scrimmage were interceptions by Slinger. So Waukesha North's defense has been on this field a lot here in this first half. So that will be something to watch here as the game moves into the second half, is how tired will those players for the North Stars be as we get into the second half, especially in a game if they get too far behind.
So 3 minutes, 54 seconds left to play as we're trying to address the rain on the window. And it's a good chance to highlight the effort that's been made outside of us two in the booth that makes it so easy for us to bring the game to you. I mean, my father's been on the sound, he's been on the camera. It's all been organized as well by Steve Stanek. So Steve Stanek and Bill Brewer both have just been fantastic for our efforts to bring the game to you every week so far this fall. And as we get the ball reset, ready to go, the North Stars use their first of 3 timeouts. The Owls still have all 3 timeouts for the half. As this play, just under 4 minutes to go, Fairman's going to take a shot to the end zone. There's a flag down as the ball sails over Dodderman, but I think this penalty will be on Waukesha North.
It may even be on Slinger because the offensive lineman for Slinger got up right away and he was like, "Oh, are you kidding me?" It's going to be another holding penalty.
See, I saw the collision with Fairman in the backfield, and I assumed it might have been a roughing the passer, but instead, it is a holding in the backfield, which will move the Owls back considerably, and that's a big shift back to the 39-yard line. It might change up how Slinger attacks this drive, needing to get all the way down to the 13-yard line.
Yeah, but it's first down, and they got all 3 of their timeouts with 3:49. There's a lot of time left.
They'll give to Strupp, and the gap closes quickly. Good job by the North Stars.
But on that play with the penalty, Aiden Donnerman did a stop-and-go route, and he got open. So that may be something that Slinger may want to look at trying to do later on in this game because that play was open.
From the 38-yard line, the Owls need 25 for the first down. Clock is running. It's at 3:15. Empty backfield for Fairman as he drops back to pass. It is tipped at the line of scrimmage, or maybe it slipped out with the rain, but regardless, it falls well short. And it'll be 3rd down and long.
Yeah, that was definitely a wobbler coming out of Furman's hand. Either that was, he slipped, like you said, it either slipped out of his hands, or maybe there was a defender who got his hand up. But that was definitely a wobbler that would have been very tough for Dodderman to catch, even if it had gotten to him. Those are just tough passes to catch when they're not real crisp.
Now Slinger might be concerned about the time on the clock with it being 3rd down and this long. Just trying to get that clock to move 40 seconds or get North to burn their 2nd timeout. Dodderman in motion, and they give it to him on the sweep. Dodderman needs a block, and he cuts up field. Great pursuit by the North Stars. Tackle made by Peyton Frater.
Brought down at the 35-yard line. 4th down.
And timeout will not be called yet. There's 2 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in the half. And North is going to let the clock run, and they're going to prefer to save their 2nd and 3rd timeout for the upcoming drive. Ball on the 35-yard line.
Yeah, rain's really picking up here, so that's going to be key to watch in the passing game. because now the ball's going to get pretty slippery.
So Derek Weist will punt from the midfield line.
I think Waukesha North's going to try and really block this.
Weist takes his time, boots it high and short. That's a great punt from Weist. Hits the ground between the 10 and the 15. We'll see the official spot in a second. With 2 minutes, 18 seconds left to play, Waukesha North is furthest back they've ever been to start a drive here. And a daunting task to try and score and cut into the lead before the half. Officially spotted at the 12-yard line.
Just taking a quick peek at the radar. This range shouldn't last too long, and once it stops, we should be in the clear for the rest of the ball game.
So 2 minutes and 18 seconds for Waukesha North. And they fake the jet sweep. They give up the middle, and the Owls are all over it up the middle. Nothing doing. Robert Cleary in there to make the tackle for the Owls, and the clock will run down. We are just now hitting the 2-minute mark remaining in the second quarter.
2nd and 10.
At Waukesha North, maybe the disaster of a first half they've had on the offensive side of the ball. You might just be trying to get to the halftime mark and only be down 2 scores. Minute 40 left on the clock. As Neal snaps, gets rid of it. Caught at the 15. Tripped up near the 20-yard line. It's Reese Clark with the catch. And a timeout is called on the play, or following the play, excuse me.
Timeout, Slinger.
And the Owls are the ones to take that timeout. Their first of the half. So the Owls also playing aggressively here with the clock. And with it being third down now, if you're in Waukesha North's shoes, do you try to throw the ball to get the first down but risk throwing an incomplete pass? Or do you run the ball to try and get Slinger to burn that other timeout and kind of lessen their chances of moving down the field to score?
I mean, you would think you would want to maybe try and run the ball just to try and see if you can get Slinger to burn their timeout. But Waukesha North has run four times, and they've yet to gain a yard on that. So if they're thinking of trying to run the ball to either melt the clock or get the first down, they may have to look at some of their other options. But of course, if you try to throw the ball and it falls incomplete, you give Slinger likely the ball back with 2 timeouts and more than likely pretty good field position. So it's definitely a chess match here for Waukesha North and Slingers to figure out what situation they feel is best to put their team in over the next couple plays.
The Owls loading the box here. Single covered on the outside as Neal drops back to pass. Looks like a design draw, and this time he'll actually throw it long. Oh my goodness, what a pick! Aiden Donnerman with the interception!
At the 49-yard line.
And the turnover machine continues for Waukesha North. They just cannot seem to get out of their own way. That is the 5th interception here in the first half.
And Jackson Neal have done such a good job in taking care of the ball this season. He only had 2 interceptions coming in, and he's thrown 5 today, and but credit to Aiden Donnerman. I actually thought he was kind of beat a little bit on the route, and it was a stop and go on the far sideline, and they were trying to get it over the top of him, but Donnerman used his 4.5 speed to recollapse and regain his stride with the receiver, and that's how he was able to make that pick.
So Waukesha North doesn't even get to punt it away on 4th down. The clock stops due to the turnover, and from the 49-yard line, 1 minute, 24 seconds, Fairman fakes the pitch and tries to get upfield. Wrestled down in the backfield by Seti Bolden, the senior defensive lineman. He's had some great plays, number 6 for Waukesha North. And that one hurts this drive here and may make the Owls just look at halftime.
Yeah, I mean, they just, Waukesha North just came in real quick with that, on that blitz with Seti Bolden. Play never had a chance to develop. He was in the backfield so quickly.
So the Owls at the 45-yard line don't seem to be in any kind of hurry. 2nd down and 16. 45 seconds left to play in the half. You might see a run play or maybe one shot to the end zone. Under 40 seconds, and Fairman will throw. Pass is caught. Out of bounds on the left sideline. That's Gabe Ziegler.
Ziegler on the reception.
Ball at the 43-yard line. Third down and short. 30 seconds left to play in the half. The Owls still have 2 timeouts.
Third and 4 at the 43.
Maybe a shot downfield is in order. You know, Dodderman's got the breakaway speed and the aerial ability to come down with anything in his catch radius.
And Furman's got a decent arm that could get to him at least 25, 30 yards downfield. You still have the 2 timeouts in 30 seconds. You still have a lot of options here, but I would not be surprised to see if they try some kind of trick route of like a stop and go or something to that effect.
Fairman will throw. Pocket holds, but the pass is picked off.
Furman's pass is intercepted.
And North quickly turning the ball back to their offense. Elijah Giddings with his second interception of the day, and
Waukesha North.
neither offense has done a great job holding on to the football. Besides the 2 scoring drives for the Owls, we've only seen, 1-2 punts so far here in the first half?
I think 1 for each team. Yeah, it's one. I think it's 1 for each team. But credit to Waukesha North on that play. Giddings dropped back in zone coverage to cover the underneath route. Dodderman was trying to slant from the slot position, and Giddings read that all the way, and he dropped into coverage and made the easy interception. That's one of those situations where Furman knew where he was going to throw the football, where he made up his mind before he had even snapped the ball.
Trying to get some positive yardage here. Jackson Neal, the pocket collapsed quickly, only gained a yard. 12 seconds, 11 seconds, clock running. And I think we're going to end the first half there. A highlight film.